Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Brews and Reviews. It's Knowledge, and today I'm reviewing Vic Mensa's V Tape, and I am sipping on a Maduro brown ale from Cigar City Brewing Company, coming in at 5.5%. That is a good, complex brown beer, and let's listen to this complex album. Vic Mensa's V Tape, the fourth album from the Roc Nation artist, and I wasn't really checking for this one at first, mostly because it's the follow-up to Hooligans and 93 Punks, and I wasn't really feeling either one of those projects, so I wasn't too excited to come into this one, but I still had to check it out because I was very pleased with his debut, the autobiography, and I thought that he'd probably take it in a different direction after he dropped that than he did with some of his more recent albums. The first track is Vendetta, and it's evident from the sped up backwards soul samples and the dark foreboding bass line that this is going to be a little bit different than his two previous projects. And that's even more apparent as Vic starts his first verse with punchlines in nearly every single line and numerous references in one of the more dark references and one of several references he makes to movies. Here's some of the darker wordplay. He says, "These jokers get too deep in character, man. R.I.P. Heath Ledger. V Tape and the V for Vendetta." So he's letting us know right from the jump what this album is about. And if the V is for Vendetta, then that means he's striking back at those critics, like I said, that didn't necessarily like his previous projects and his other doubters that are out there, such as other people in the rap game, which he brings up during this album. I like the attitude from him coming right out of the gates in this first verse, and the second verse goes even deeper into the wordplay, which you can tell from this quadruple entendre on these lines. Stray shots make you a black carcass like Maxine Waters, or leave you crippled, no Calvin Broadus. Let's dissect this. Not only is he saying the stray shots out in the city where he's from, Chicago, can leave you either dead or disabled, but the way that he pronounces black carcass sounds like caucus. Maxine Waters is a congressional representative that's in the Black Caucus, and Calvin Broadus, of course, is Snoop Dogg, and he was a member of the Crips, but also in one of his most famous performances that was for the MTV Awards, he came out in a wheelchair, or in other words, crippled. Machiavelli is the next song, and this is an even better, more accessible beat, and the drums are really unique on this. I don't know that I've heard this particular drum pattern on a hip-hop song before, so check for that. I'm enjoying the drum. Vic goes in hard with the wordplay and references again. He says, "Speak my mind, I got a bad habit. Became a hazard to my health like corona to an asthmatic. I rock like the old J, but I'm a backstabber cause I unned myself." To explain what speaking his mind has done to him and its self-sabotage in a way, he uses a very modern metaphor talking about the coronavirus and an older metaphor that some people may not have caught. He's referencing when Jay-Z stabbed the record executive Lance Rivera. And of course, this is also referenced in the greatest diss track of all time, Ether, where Nas says, "And your man stabbed and made you take the blame." Nice callback reference, just in case we forgot, with Vic Mensa talking about his boss here, the billionaire nowadays, Jay-Z, and what he did in the past. 2 tracks in, and I'm thinking this is a really strong album, and then boom, Dirt on My Name comes on. This is produced by Hit Boy, who's having a great year, and this song in particular is as good, if not better, than anything he did on Nas's album. Mensa helps an already fire beat with his delivery, and I might put this down for one of the top flows of the year, especially on the chorus where he holds out the last word of each line to connect to the next loop. Lyrically, this track is a response to the backlash that he faced for speaking about XXX Tentacion and his abuse of women after he died. And I still think that it was right for Vic to do that. Just because the dude's dead doesn't mean that we can't criticize the way that he lived his life, especially when it comes to abusing women. Nevertheless, Vic's going at everybody that was going at him then and saying you better keep that dirt off his name. X Games. I feel like Every track on this EP is better than the one that came before it, which is amazing, which is with as strong as an EP as this is. I absolutely love the chorus by Snoh Aalegra. She gets very deep, spacey, reverby, dark, and beautiful all at the same time. Vic speaks on a confusing relationship with a woman with a lot of back and forth in the relationship and mixed messages, and that they might just be staying together for comfort. And although we've heard this subject broached on many different hip-hop songs, but Vic adds to it because this does feel like a personal experience for him. Bethlehem, SC Freestyle. This is a two-part song. The soft soul beat first, which allows him to spit jewel after jewel, closing out that part of the song with the lines, "The businesses keep us addicted to pharmacists, so we too preoccupied with prescriptions for politics. Give them mass incarceration, leave the children fatherless. I'm the voice of a generation, we won't be silenced." Those very poignant lyrics lead into the next track, which is more up-tempo, upbeat, and his flow switches for the second part, where he talks about the violence in his city, in Chicago, and how rough it is, and why they call it Chirac. Too Honest, the penultimate track, is the best track on an EP full of good tracks. And as the title suggests, he is being very honest on his lyrics to this song. He displays a lot of emotion in his delivery. We usually don't hear this from rappers, as he speaks on subjects like suicidal thoughts, depression, low self-confidence. The chorus says it all. After some great crooning from frequent collaborator St. John, he says, "I called a 5150 on myself. That's how you know I need help." 5150 being the police code for a mental distress call. All the while, during the chorus, the bass is very low and dark. During the second verse, you can hear his voice cracking as he says, "I find a notebook in my parents' crib from when I was 5. I went inside, it said, I hate myself, I want to die. I cried. I couldn't even fathom a child feeling so lonely." And a little bit later, he's deducing why he was so lonely. He says, "Growing up, I was a product of my biracial confusion. Neither black nor white. I guess that made me translucent." These are some great lyrics. He felt like he was invisible, that no one could see his pain, but also no one could identify with him, like he wasn't even there. And this line in particular, it's reminiscent of the great novel on race by Ralph Ellison called Invisible Man. It really made me think of that, but an updated version. Too Honest is extremely honest, and this is a contender for top 10 verses of the year lyrically. Rebirth is another very heavy, emotional track. It features BJ the Chicago Kid, who doesn't get enough credit for his guest appearances. He has at least as many as Anderson .Paak, and he always delivers. And I love how diverse he is and the different types of artists he collaborates. I've heard him on everything from Kanye to Kendrick to Cunning Linguist to MF Doom. I really like the title of this track, Rebirth, because it not only follows the track, which was about suicide, so it's a rebirth from those sorts, but also that this album is so different from what he's released before. And he's talking about a lot of those subjects on the album, and you feel like this may be a rebirth in his musical direction. On this song, he talks about his debut album dropping at the same time that his father became paralyzed, and how he was conflicted in his brain about his success going up and his father's situation going down. He talks about getting into severe altercations that he didn't handle in the best way, but he ends the album lyrically perfectly with these lines. He says, "Now I got my personal all tangled on my mic cord. Could either break you or make you appreciate life more. It only differs in perspective. You witness my crucifixion. Welcome to my resurrection." Praise Jesus. This is a great album. This is my favorite Vic Mensa project. There's a variety of beats and flows and subject matter, but at the same time, they all mesh well for a tight, cohesive project. The last two tracks are very strong with personal, heartfelt lyrics, while the beginning is more about the wordplay and the middle just displays his stellar flow and how he can make a good song structure go. I give this a 9 out of a 12 pack. This album should not be overlooked at all and is a standout for 2020. Thank you for watching my review of Vic Mensa's The V Tape. If you liked this review, go ahead and hit me up in the comments and hit like now. If you didn't like it, also let me know why in the comments. I drop hip-hop and hops related content consistently, so go ahead and click on this link and subscribe to my channel, or you can click on this other link and see some other videos that I've made. Until I see you next time, keep buzzing.